This is John Walton, and you're listening to the Power Play Point podcast with the Blue Liner on points and Anna Knox. Here's Wilson, and on the right side, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And a hat trick tonight, number 21,
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Play Point podcast. This is your host, the Blue Liner on Point, talking to you live to tape from my abode in Glen Burnie, Maryland, where we had some flakes, not the dandruff type earlier, but they have seemingly subsided. So the Mermaid is off this week due to familial and school obligations of some sort that I will not go into here. So with me to take her place, as she ably does on so many occasions, it is the beautiful, wonderful, blows up your chat room and phone, whatever device you have, C4 Cheryl Anne Forster. How you doing, C4?
I'm doing pretty good, Gil, all things considered. Considering the week the Caps had, I'm doing pretty good.
Rough week all around, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some rough stuff on the personal side that I don't want to get into, but
yeah,
other than that, I'm doing pretty well.
That. Yeah, I get that, and we'll not a fun week, but kind of a crazy topsy-turvy week if you're a Caps fan too. 4 games played, which we will cover in some aspects. So let's see. So let's go over them. 2 wins, 2 losses. I mean, a 500 week. I mean, okay, better than last week. So
yeah, well, I mean, considering where we are in the season, I still, in my opinion, we're doing way better than I expected us to be doing at this point in the season. So I'm happy with the 500 week.
Yeah, and
also considering the teams we played, I'm happy with this.
Yes, and that's the thing. So we're actually pretty much at the halfway mark. I think it's 40. Today's game was the 40th game, and the next game is going to be the 41st. So we're pretty much at the halfway mark for the season, and the Caps stand at 20 wins, 15 losses, and 6 overtime losses, counting today's game against the Rangers, which we'll go over in more detail. And before we get into recaps, I just want to say, look, C4's right. I think all things considered, I know we were down last week on this team, but because of how they played, but they happen to have a down week. But I think to some extent they worked through it, and they showed some improvement. They showed some willingness at least to work through their issues, some of which they still have quite a bit of, but
which we'll get into later.
Yeah. But all things considered, I mean, 20 wins after 40 games, that's not bad. And in the hunt for a playoff spot. I mean, not a whole lot.
Which is actually a bit of a surprise to me.
It is. It is. And I still don't know if they'll make the playoffs. Some still have them down to be a long shot just to make the playoffs. But I think if they keep playing the way that they have been playing, at least this week and most other weeks this season, I think they'll be just fine, even if they don't make the postseason.
Yeah, I agree.
No, this is again, I've said it about a million times. This is year 1 of a 3-year plan where they couldn't quite rip the Band-Aid off. So they're doing it piece by piece. They're replacing some pieces, new coach, new plan, trying to get everything all situated. And sometimes it doesn't quite work out. Case in point, well, a couple of games this week at least, but that's where they are. And they're, like Cheryl said, we don't we're not looking at a team that's doing badly. They're not dwelling in the basement. They're just still figuring things out, and it's not the best place to be, but it's not the worst place to be either. So
I'd rather be where we are than in the basement for sure.
I would rather be us than a whole lot of teams right now. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. So let's just go ahead and go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think I said something I'm not sure if it was on your podcast or on one of Robbie's, where this team has been fortunate that we have not, in recent years anyway, been in the bottom of the league. And even as we are going through this retooling, rebuilding, restructuring, whatever you want to call it, we're fortunate that we have the talent that they're kind of keeping us above water. Maybe not in playoff position, but we're slightly above that 500. Well, I think we're right at about 500 right now, but we're keeping our heads above water. We're not sinking, and we're very fortunate in our talent pool and our player development that we have. That this, like you said, this is could potentially be only 3 years as opposed to 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, like some of these other teams like Detroit or Chicago or Ottawa, or
Yes.
So we're very fortunate in what we have. So yes, Ovi doesn't want a complete restructure, but we're still managing to work around that.
Yes, most definitely. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be ups and downs. I mean,
yeah, and as
it's
far
a roller
as
coaster year, this year is a roller coaster. Just hang on, strap in, enjoy the ride.
Exactly, and it's what I've been saying the whole time. Although sometimes it's the ride, it makes you want to throw up, but
of course.
Now winning percentage, yeah, we're right around 500 points. Percentage is where the league really calculates you, and we're actually above. The team's actually above 500. I think they're about 560, something like that, as far as points percentage.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's the kind of the dividing line that the teams get judged by, at least one of them anyway. But yeah, they're not doing too badly. So either way, they're treading 500 or slightly better. Now, admittedly, they were doing better earlier in the year and kind of hit a bit of a wall, as we mentioned last week, but still overall not so bad. So
right.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the week that was, and we're kind of going to do this rapid fire style somewhat, because we got 4 games to cover. They had to have a Sunday afternoon game, and they had to have another Sunday afternoon game today. So those two bookmarked this week. So they threw in some extra games for us to kind of shoot around. So we'll get through all those. Let's start with last Sunday's game, the 7th against the Los Angeles Kings. This was a 4-3 win. And this was what we before we came on. You said this was the best game they played. I would agree, certainly offensively, but as far as competitiveness, yeah, it was up there. It was a pretty good game. I like the fire. I like the competitiveness. I like the fact that they literally played to the last minute. Quick rundown
McNuggets for everyone.
McNuggets for everybody, courtesy of Mr. Carlson. Yeah.
You know what? I didn't get out Monday to get my nuggets.
Oh well, Mrs. Blue Liner did. I didn't, but she did. So. Yeah, she was enjoying them. Quick rundown of the scoring. No score in the first period. Nick Dowd opens the scoring with his 6th. Nick Dowd's had a hell of a last 2 weeks, by the way.
Yeah, he has. He's been one of our best players the last couple of weeks. Just kind of have to say that I got into a bit of a to-do with Brad Rakucci about him. He kind of hypothetically. It was one of those things that, like my
I don't know, it was New Year's Eve or Christmas with Jake, where we went back and forth. But that one was about TJ Oshie. This one was about Nick Dowd, and I was like, "There's no way we can get much more for him." And he was like, "Are you kidding me? We can get plenty for him back." And I was like, "No way. Fourth liners don't usually get anything more than fifth, sixth, seventh rounders." And we kind of went back and forth about him, but. Even so, Nick Dowd has had a hell of a last 2 weeks, and he's easily been one of the Caps' best players. The past month, I would say, easily. So he opened the scoring, his 6, Obe Kubel and Carlson on the assist for that one. Adrian Kempe ties it up 3 minutes later at 7:12, his 15th, Doughty and Kopitar. Those are the three guys that are going to kill you. On the Kings.
And that was a power play goal, too.
And that was a power play goal. So, yeah, not a whole lot could be done about that one. Kevin Fiala, 6 minutes later, he's another one that'll kill you, his 9th. Puts the Kings up 2-0. And then 2.5 minutes later, even strength goal by Dylan Strome and Ovechkin. Was this the one, I'm wondering, was this the one where Ovechkin kind of faked the shot? And no,
that was no. This was the one. This was Matt Pacioretty's first point as a Capital, though.
That's right. Pacioretty. Okay. So Pacioretty found Ovechkin, who does this kind of deke move, and then puts it to Strome, who puts it in the goal. Yeah, that's what happened for that one.
Right.
So evens it up at 2-2. Fiala again. Byfield on the assist on that one puts the Kings up 3-2 in the first minute of the third. That on another power play, Obe Kubel 7.5 minutes, his 4th. Nick Dowd, his 4th assist on that one. So tie game. So we're thinking, all right, this is probably going to wander into the shootout / overtime again. And
they
then
tend to do that when there's less than 10 minutes left in the game and they're tied up. They tend to want to play to the overtime.
They tend to fall back into that, but thankfully it did not happen this time. And as we've mentioned
Carlson
before,
had other ideas.
John Carlson with a huge slapper from the point, his 3rd of the year. And I can't remember if it was you I was telling this to or Anna, but I remember saying, "Gee, I wish he would shoot more," to somebody.
Yeah.
And
I think
lo
it was
and
Anna,
behold, it's probably last week.
Podcast with Anna. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lo and behold, he shoots more and he scores. And it's at 1907 McNuggets raining down for everybody, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
And a win column. So quick rundown of the vitals: 41 shots on goal given up by the Caps. Hoo boy. Yeah. But that meant
34.
Darcy Kemper had 38 saves. So
yeah, he looked really good. So,
glass half full, glass half empty, glass half full. But I thought Kemper had a pretty good game. 34 shots for the Caps. Caps had a slight edge in the faceoff. Caps only had one power play chance. They blew it. Big surprise. Penalty kill was kind of had three to kill, only killed one of them. So definitely led in the hit column, 30-19, and could have had more block shots for my liking, but hey, what are you going to do? Goaltending was good enough to get them through the game, and that's pretty much how that was done. So that was that game. And then the Caps had 3 days off. And then this game we're kind of going to fly through because I sat through it and I didn't enjoy any of it.
Well, here's the other thing, too, is when we have games like that are 3 or 4 days apart, we tend to come back flat. When we're too far apart in games, it's like we get too much rest.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think that's part, because I was at that game, and it started off okay. We, in the first period, if you don't mind, I'll run through. Is that okay?
Sure.
We had 11 shots on goal in the first period, 10 in the second, 5 in the third, for a total of 26 shots, which isn't terrible. On paper, this game was not that bad.
Well, I did not like the tail off in the third because one,
that was
I mean,
the
that ain't going
problem.
to cut it. Two, how many times have we said it this year that they start off great and then third period comes and then they just stop shooting?
Yeah. Right. Well, both teams. I mean, Seattle only had 8 shots in the third period, so 23 shots to 26 shots. So nobody was really shooting much in this game.
That's the
So
other
as far
reason
as
why I didn't much.
effort.
Yeah, this game
It was
slowed to a crawl in the third.
Yeah, this game was. Yeah, it was a little boring at the end of the day. No penalties until what, the third period? I think that
Oh yeah.
Until the third period, there was a tripping and a cross check, and that cross check was like iffy at best. I'm not even sure the tripping was really good, but I think they just felt they had to call something because they hadn't called anything. But anyway, so Carty or Carty, however you say it, assisted by McCann. Larson started it at 8:50 in the first. Wenberg got his 7th, assisted by Tanev. And then Pacioretty gets his first goal of the Capital in the second period at 5:47. Ovi and Ram Riemsdyk helping on that one.
Yeah, great.
Ovi's got
to see
19
that
assists, man. That's actually it's kind of odd to see Ovi with 19 assists.
Well, it is, but it's also great to see him contributing too.
Yeah. And he was struggling in that game, quite frankly. He looked like he was struggling a bit in that game towards the end. And then former Capital Jeff Schultz, assisted by Tolvanen and Bjorkstrand,
Justin Schultz.
made it 3-1 Seattle. Yeah, Justin Schultz, sorry. And then
Jeff Schultz, I'd be surprised because that'd be like guy coming back from the grave.
Yeah, Justin Schultz. I'm so sorry. Schultz, former Capital Schultz, scores. And then in the third period, Larson, at 12:02 in the third period, Larson makes it 4-1 Seattle, assisted by Tanev and Schwartz. Jeff Schwartz, that's what I was thinking. And, that was it. So nobody scored on the power play, which is good, I guess. 10 hits to 9 in favor of the Caps. 16 to 12 block shots in favor of the Caps. 14 giveaways Caps, 6 giveaways Seattle, 9 takeaways Caps, 8 takeaways Seattle. So on paper, this game wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
but there really wasn't. It really wasn't a lot of effort on either side. I believe Darcy was in goal, and I think at least one of those he wants back, maybe 2.
This was unfortunately another one of those games where they fall behind by 2.
But there wasn't a lot of defensive effort either. So
yeah, one of them was lack of defense, and another one was kind of iffy positioning and or play by Darcy.
Yeah.
So and then the next thing you know, they're chasing the game, and it's not. Yeah. Not.
So in theory, I mean, you would have people that would argue, it should be 2-1 if the other one thought. Well, we won't get into it, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I know. And no, we shouldn't be wasting a whole lot of time to cater to fans that have not learned to watch a hockey game yet, but. I mean, look, it was a combination of things. It was a bit sluggish play, but it was the Caps had a pretty good start. I mean, come on, they put 21 shots on goal in the first 40 minutes of play. Now, that's not too bad, but then again, as you mentioned, CL was, what were they in the middle of a 9-game win streak at that point?
Yeah. Yeah, they. I think this really didn't. I think this made it 9 games. Might have made it 10. I'd have to look at their schedule.
Yeah, 9 or 10 was the streak they were on, or at that point.
Yeah.
And also, they had, and I warned everybody about this on Monday. Hot goalie, mega hot goalie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Decord.
Joey Decord, ASU grad. Yeah,
I saw him play in the Calder Cup, and I mean, I saw him play. Yeah, well, we were at game 5 in Hershey in the Calder Cup final when he was playing for Coachella Valley.
Right.
And he is a very good goalie. I mean, he's very good. So, we ran into the hot goalie. We ran into an offense, and some of those goals, and a couple of those goals were just sneaky. Seattle they get those sneaky goals. You just don't see them coming. So, so I had this game kind of down as a loss, maybe not a 4-1 loss, but I had us losing this game, I think, anyway. So I'm not overly disappointed. I mean,
I'm not surprised. I would have liked it to have been closer. I think everybody just ran out of gas for some reason or acted like they did in the third period. But other than that, I mean, not bad on paper at least. So
yeah.
All right. So on to the weekend's worth of games. So the Caps had a home and home Saturday and Sunday with the New York Rangers. It started right here in Cap 1 Saturday afternoon. This one, well, it didn't start off great either, but Adam Fox gets the goal to start first period, 13:23 in his sixth. And then 17:50, Connor McMichael throws a wonderful stretch pass and finds Anthony McMantha. I got McMichael and McMantha. I got that whole line on the brain. Him, Mantha, and Protus. Anyway, so he finds Mantha streaking over the red line into the zone. Tape to tape pass. Mantha takes it in. Beautiful backhand shelf past Jonathan Quick to tie the game at 17:50. And then Fox again, 5:15, his seventh and the second. So the Caps go into the third down again, and I think at this point the Rangers had not lost a game when they had been in the lead after 2. So it wasn't looking too good. And then Nick Dowd, we mentioned him already, his 7th of the year. So this play was started by Kuznetsov. Was started by Carlson, and who got it over to Kuznetsov, and he did not a twister pass, but a twister shot. He went all the way around the net, twisted, and then shot towards the net. Now, there's some debate as to whether or not it was going in anyway, but Nick Dowd was right there with the stick and taps it in.
I did see that replay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. So 2-2 game, and then barely 2 minutes later, TJ Oshie, making his return this week, gets his 3rd of the year. And it was so sweet to hear Country Roads again. It really was.
I missed it.
Edmund, go ahead.
Family on Saturday. No, I was with family on Saturday. So I didn't see the game.
Yeah, I get that. And of course it was on a certain 4-letter network. So, but
yeah.
I mean,
so even if
something
I had
about
been at the house, I wouldn't have been able to see it anyway because they don't have the 4-letter network.
No.
Was it on ESPN or was it on ESPN Plus?
Actually, it was
it was on Channel 7. It was on ABC.
It was on ABC, but it was hosted by them.
Yeah.
So you probably would have seen it, but
yeah, you're right. So I'm thinking
I wouldn't
today's game had I been.
Yeah. No, today's game was on was regular. It wasn't sullied by those.
No, I just don't know if my parents get that channel.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. No, it would have been on regular 7. This one was so. But yeah, this one, Strome throws it at the net, and Oshie leans in just enough behind Jonathan Quick to tap it in at 8:29, and this turns out to be the game winner. And not a whole lot of things to be impressed about on paper, this one, but
No.
unlike the Seattle game, they did come out on top. The second period, they put out the most shots, 10. And but the third period, they really came alive. And pardon me. And yeah, I will knock him all day long because I think not as bad as a certain other coach before him, but I think unfortunately Peter Laviolette proved to be a very wrong coach for this team. But something else I notice about his teams is that they stop playing offense when they get the lead.
Yeah.
And that worked to their advantage, the Caps' advantage in this game. Because they ramped up the shots, but they really didn't, charge the net as much, and they just stopped playing. I don't know what it is about it, but they just stopped.
Segue into today's game because the same thing happened, and we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in the third period.
Well, yeah, the same thing. You're right. The same thing did happen because the Rangers kind of just slowed down in the third. Big time. And yeah, as Cheryl Anne just said, had a chance to maybe tie it, at least take it into OT, but not as glorious a result in that one. So we'll make that game our focus game for this week. Conveniently enough, only 3 goals in this one. First period, 50 seconds in, Artemi Panarin, his 27th. Now, much was made. Of course, Charlie Lindgren got the start yesterday, and much was made about him getting the start today. This is actually the first time he'd done a back-to-back ever in his professional, in his major professional career. Last time he did it, he was in the AHL. A little bit was made about this because, without going into detail again, for some of you who like to avoid this kind of thing, some have been haphazardly engaging in a goalie debate, even though there really isn't one, shouldn't be one. But coaching decided to give Charlie the start in this one as well. And I was thinking it's a bit of a gamble, but the right call because he's definitely got the hot hand. Let's face it, he's been the better of the 2 goalies for the last month and a half at least. Minus the time he missed. And he's coming off of injury, so he's going to need some time and to figure, okay, bit of a roll of the dice, but again, probably the best call, best case scenario. That all said, he did not look good on this goal. I mean, some of you out there love to put Darcy Kemper under a microscope of scrutiny. Well, let's take a look at this one. All right. So Rangers have the breakout. And this was a flow play. This is a rush play, admittedly. But so you could look at this of 2 minds. Cap should not have allowed the shot because they had coverage. Okay? But they did, and the right guy with the right stick on the left wing, Panarin, gets the shot. Now, the thing you need to look at, other than the fact that he gets the shot, look at Charlie's positioning. If you can break down the slow-mo, if you're able to see that last part of it, look how much net Panarin has to shoot at.
Oh,
now,
God, yeah. I just pulled up the replay.
He's got quite a bit of net to shoot at. So, yeah, I don't know if he was still looking at the pass, just trying to judge how it was going to go, but he should have been ready for the shot, in my estimation. Now, again, hell of a shot. So this first goal was Panarin, and yeah, it was a pass from Lafreniere, kind of a sneaky pass. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure that Charlie saw the pass all the way. He might have lost. So he might have lost sight of it in that kind of back pass because it was through a couple of bodies. So, but either way, he was definitely not set for the shot, and it was.
So here comes Lafreniere. Yeah, no, he wasn't ready for it.
No,
I don't think he. I think what happened was he saw the pass and he just kind of overcorrected or over. You know what I mean? He thought he just kind of went a little too far over.
Yeah, and was actually.
I think he was expecting the shot to come later than it did.
Yeah, and it was actually Vincent Trocheck that slid it underneath some bodies over to Panarin, and yeah, and that was, you can call it 1,000 different ways, but you can at least in part, I would say, pin that one on Charlie. So all things being equal and fair, but it's not so much giving up the first goal, it's how you play after that. And I think it was there that was the difference. Now, the second goal, ironically enough, would be scored in the last minute of the first period. No, it was not a McNugget goal because it wasn't scored by the Caps.
Yep.
It was scored by Lafreniere, who I'm sorry, I got the impression that this guy is softer than a pallet full of Charmin tissue paper. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. The guy went down if you looked at him cross-eyed. Am I not wrong?
I think you're not wrong.
Sammy Silver put out a tweet that observed that 4 of the penalties, I think the Caps got 5, were called for 5 minors.
Yeah.
4 of them were called because of something that happened with Lafreniere.
Let's see. Farivari high sticking against Lafreniere. Farivari interference against Lafreniere. Edmondson high sticking against Lafreniere.
Which
Carlson
was
tripping
bullcrap.
against Lafreniere. Well,
Which was double
definitely
bullcrap.
Bullcrap. The tripping was definitely. I missed the high sticking. I tuned in right as.
Well, you didn't miss much because it never happened.
I tuned in right at the end when Nick Dowd. Yeah, I missed the Joel Edmondson high sticking, but I did see the John Carlson trip, quote unquote trip. Yeah, those were the ones against. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 against Lafreniere.
I'm sorry. He just gives me that impression that he's Anyway, to round out the scoring, the last goal of the game was scored by TJ Oshie again. Something about him and the Rangers, but hey, as long as he gets going. His 4th, Strome and Pacioretty again, who's also having a pretty good week, quietly. And this was actually, I'm going to call up the replay on this one. This, if I remember right, was kind of a carbon copy of the one he got earlier in the week. No, not really. Well, it's sort of, because he charges the net. He charges the net.
Yep.
Guy in front of the net scores a goal. What a concept.
I know, right?
I mean, we've only been saying that since day one a cajillion times.
Yeah.
But seriously, though,
yeah,
I saw.
Yeah, Pacioretty slings it around back of the net to Strome. Strome slaps it to the front. Oshie's there to get it and slap it in.
Well, actually, it started with Edmondson, who flung it in, and then the Rangers tried to clear, and then Oshie jumps up and grabs it.
Right.
And keeps it going. And then that's when it went to the back of the net. And that's when Pacioretty and Strome did their thing.
Right. Pacioretty gets behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, all they got to do is collapse on the net, all three of them. And they did. And lo and behold, goal.
Oshie catches it, drops it. Shesterkin blocks it. Pacioretty gets it around the net to Strome. Strome gets to Osh. Osh knocks it in.
Yeah. So why can't they do more of that?
I don't know.
Instead of this, skate into the zone and then kind of play with it and then shoot from 60 feet and hope it goes in.
Mm-hmm.
They need more this. And this is the reason why I don't think, well, I hope Oshie is able to play out his contract at least.
Yeah.
This is the reason why, or one of several actually, but this is a big reason why they definitely need a healthy Oshie in the lineup. Oh, and by the way,
because he gets in front of the net.
Yeah, by the way, he was on the top line.
Was he?
Yeah,
okay.
He played the top line this game.
Nice.
He was pretty much in Ovi's spot.
Yeah.
By the way, Ovechkin had to miss this game and the game before,
right?
Because of lingering stuff that happened in the Carolina game where stupid Stahl had to fall on his leg.
Yeah. Well, I think Ovi needs to sit a few games anyway. He's just been looking so tired.
I would not
rest.
I said this in the podcast room on Facebook. I would not be averse to Ovi sitting out from now through the All-Star break.
Exactly.
Give him a chance to recharge and reset.
Yep. He looks like he needs it. He's looked like he's needed it for a while. And actually, back in 2018, there was a time when I was screaming for him to sit because he was looking so out of it. And then we came, of course, he didn't, but.
No, he didn't because that's who he is. He plays. Right. If he's feels up to it, he's going to play. Obviously he wasn't feeling up to it, but again, I think let him sit. Well, how far are we to the All-Star break? I didn't realize it's actually quite a bit of time.
Let's see. 1, 2,
2 weeks worth of games.
3. Yeah.
6 games.
Yeah.
6 more games till the All-Star break. Well, we'll get to previews of coming attractions in a minute, but lest we forget, though, I mean, even though the Caps lost this game, it cannot be discounted, the absolute stellar performance of one Charlie Lindgren.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about single-handedly. Oh yeah, single-handedly keeping your team in the game.
Yeah, he was hung out to dry a little bit.
As big a fan of Kemper's as I am not too afraid to say this. I would say that until he loses it, and for at a minimum for the remainder of this regular season, and or until he loses it, Lindgren should get the majority of the games.
Yeah.
I don't know how they want to split it, 3-2, 4, 60-40. I don't know how, but he's earned it. There's no question after this one.
Yeah. Now, that's not saying we hate Darcy and we agree with those that want Darcy traded. We're not saying that at all.
Well, there's people that want Darcy disemboweled, hung, stabbed, shot, bludgeoned.
What we're saying is, of the two, Lindgren currently has the hot hand.
Yes.
Now, Darcy is a very, and I told you this when we signed him. My biggest concern with Darcy was his age, and we signed him to a 5-year deal, which I think is insane for a 32, 33-year-old goaltender. But here we are. Darcy is very good at certain things. I don't think he's as agile as he used to be. I don't think he sees the puck as well as he used to. But that doesn't make him a lesser goalie. That doesn't mean he's a bad goalie. It means he needs someone other than Murray to work with him to learn how to compensate for this stuff. And I don't think he's getting what he needs. You know what I'm saying? There are compensations that can be made to improve his performance, and I don't think he's getting coached in those things.
And it's because, look, there's no two ways about it. There's no sense sugarcoating it. Scott Murray is a terrible goalie coach. I don't know how he got this job. I'd never heard of him before this. He was there when Mitch Korn was there. I don't think he learned a bloody damn thing while Mitch Korn was there at all. Obviously not. And I will say to my dying day that until he is no longer an employee.
Yeah.
The one common denominator.
Yeah. And I really think a lot of Darcy's issues are coming from coaching, that he's not being taught or he's not figuring out how to compensate for some of the issues he may or may not be having.
He's not.
And I'm not saying he does have issues. But
right. But this is the bigger problem is this has been going on. This lack of coaching has been going on since day one.
It completely destroyed Samsonov.
Well, good before that.
Oh yeah. Ever since
Braden Holtby's game. Why did it fall off? When did it fall off? Same reason. When Mitch Korn left. And not just because Mitch Korn left. Okay? Because he was left to rot under really crappy management, really crappy coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Reardon was a huge mistake.
Oh, that don't even get me started on him. But the covering all
you get
of the
combination of Reardon and Murray. Ugh.
But yeah, I get that. But it started with Braden Holtby, and then we went to the two kids, Vitek and Sammy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them learned how to manage the game. Why?
No.
Because they weren't coached. And that's why last year there was 2 years ago, there was the whole thing of should they trade for a veteran goalie to mentor them? Why do you need a mentor if you've got a goalie coach? That's their job.
Right. And now we have a veteran, and his game's fallen off because he's not getting the right coaching. But you got to lay some of it on them too, because on Darcy and Lindgren, because you would think they would say, hey, look, this isn't working. We need to try something else. You would think that. Now, I don't know. They may be doing that, and Murray may not be listening. But you would hope that they were saying, hey, coach, what you're trying to get me to do is not working. My game is not improving. It's actually falling off. We need to do something different. What can we do? You would hope that they're having those conversations.
You would hope, but
now whether the coach is a listener or not is a whole different issue. But one would hope, because but one of the signs of a good coach is you can go to him and say, and my cross country coach was amazing. If I was having an issue with something, and I would be like, hey, coach, whatever it is you're having me do, it's just not working for me. What else can we do? What else can we try? We would sit down and figure it out together. And lo and behold, my performance would improve because we figured out how to fix it. But yeah, I'm not sure that's happening with Murray.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not happening with him. And I can only recall one instance where the goalies credited him with some sort of improvement. But I mean, you have to look at it logically. He's been the one common denominator, and every year since the Caps have won the Cup, there's been some significant complaint about the goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gone through how many? Holtby, Anderson, Vanacek, Samsonov. There's at least one or two other guys, and now Darcy and Charlie.
Yep.
It's 8 goalies in 5 seasons now?
Yeah.
And they can't settle sooner or later. I mean, are they all bad goalies? I don't think so.
No, they're not.
I mean, say what you want about Samsonov and what's happening to him, and Vanacek's troubles, but these are not bad goalies. They're not getting the right guidance.
Right. Well, it's so funny because there was a small contingent when Sammy went on waivers about, 2 weeks ago or so?
Yeah.
There was a very small contingent of people like bringing back. And I'm like, no. He would have the same issues he had before.
Yes,
bad defense and bad coaching.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to come back here and be super goalie anymore. No, it's not going to happen. Forget it.
Nope.
Once they leave Washington, let them go. Just let them go.
Yeah.
Because if they come back, they're going to have the same issues they had before.
Because nothing's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed.
Until something changes on this end. Yeah.
And it's not gonna. It's not gonna.
Mm-mm. Not unless Carberry grows a pair
and says, "Hey,
brings up the guy from Hershey."
Yeah, you out.
I mean, look what the guy did from Hershey did to Clay Stevenson. Remember, Marcus was like, he's trash, he's awful, he's terrible. He's having a stellar year in Hershey under this guy.
He's doing great. Stevenson's doing great.
Because he's getting good coaching.
Yeah.
A good coach can take a mediocre goalie and make him, maybe not, the end all be all, but he can take him from mediocre to really, really good.
Better. Yeah. Become the difference maker that a goalie is supposed to be.
Yeah. At least consistent,
Yeah.
So anyway.
So that was the week that was on the ice. Like we said, 2 wins, 2 losses. But the one loss, the most recent loss, not bad. I mean, so really only one really bad game this week, I would say, out of 4. Mm-hmm. I mean, one where, God, we got to sit through this whole thing, and in your case, live.
Yeah. Thank God for good friends.
But
I actually did run into shout out to CP3 if he's listening. We did.
Oh, was that the
briefly.
one? Was that the one CP3 was at?
He was there. Yep. Got to meet him briefly after the first intermission. So it was nice to see him, and hopefully he was having a lot of fun. I think it was his first ever Caps game. So
yeah. So if you're wondering who we're talking about, Carol Porter III, as yet unseen co-host of Sports on the Hill. He co-created the podcast with Robbie. So if you're wondering who we're talking about, so I'm sure you'll be seeing him down the road. But let's just say he's definitely moving onward and upward. But which is one reason why you'll see more of him. But more to come on that much later on. Speaking of which, let's go into previews coming attractions real quick. So there's 6 games left until the All-Star break. As we mentioned, let's just go over them real quick. 2 games at home. Caps come back January 16th. Where were you the night of the January 16th?
I will be home watching it.
Versus a team called Anna has a team. Oh, ANAOO. Oh, that must be Anaheim. I'm ashamed. I've done that joke before. I'm sorry. But 7:00 puck drop against the Ducks. Really would like to see that game because I think the Caps can kind of that to me kind of a showcase game. I would think for everybody. defense and offense, because Anaheim's not all that good. So that's going to be an interesting game, I think. And then a couple nights later, on the 18th, 7 o'clock puck drop against the St. Louis Blues. First matchup against them.
I will be at that game.
Oh, nice. Okay. Expecting pics and videos.
I'll try. I took a pic at the Seattle game. It's country music night, so I'm going to break out my cowboy boots and my cowboy hat. Oh,
nice. No, what?
Well, the boots anyway. I don't know about the hat, but I'm definitely wearing the boots.
Well, okay. Well, I'm making you promise then right now. We definitely need a picture of you
with the boots and the hat.
Right. You can leave your hat on.
Package where you can get the Capitals hat, but I'm like, I would never wear it, so why? But I do have an actual cowboy hat. I do have an actual cowboy hat and boots.
All right. Well, as the song goes, you can leave your hat on or off. Well, we got it.
I don't know if I'm actually going to wear the hat to the game. It would probably be in the way. So I'll take a picture of me with the hat before I leave to go to the game.
Definitely,
but I will definitely get a picture of the boots.
One picture of you at that game in your outfit for sure.
Okay. Well, I won't. Like I said, the hat's kind of big and it would get in the way, so I won't wear it to the game. But
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But I'll take a picture of it before I leave the house in the whole get up. But the boots are definitely going to be worn to the game.
Fair enough.
And they're black with red things on them, so they'll fit right in.
Can't wait to see
that. They're old. I've had those boots for almost 30 years.
Is there a story behind those boots?
No.
Okay.
I'll saw them. I liked them. They were on sale, and I bought them.
Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. So that actually is going to be the last home game of the month, believe it or not, for the Caps.
Yeah.
Then they go on a four-game Western, whatever you want to call it, road swing. So it's another home and home, sort of, but not on straight days. So Saturday to finish the week, they go to St. Louis to play the Blues. And then they're off Sunday and Monday. And then they have a back-to-back starting on the next Tuesday, the 23rd, in Minnesota against the Wild. And then the very next night, the Wednesday, against Colorado, against the Avalanche. So that's going to be an interesting pair of games. And then they finish out the month before the All-Star break with a matinee game at 2 o'clock Saturday against the Dallas Stars. And Dallas always gives us trouble, always gives them trouble, always a tough out. And they happen to be one of the top 5 teams in the league this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be, kind of interesting.
I have to wait and see which team shows up for that one.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's going to be one of those schizophrenic games where.
Yeah. So Colorado is third in the Central, or not Colorado. Dallas is third in the Central. Colorado is second in the Central. St. Louis is fifth. And then Minnesota is seventh. So in theory, we should beat Minnesota. St. Louis could probably go either way. And Colorado and Dallas, I think, are just going to depend on which team shows up. Yeah,
very true. I think that's pretty much how it's going to go. So that's the rest of the month as that is. Now, so segueing very poorly into something I posted earlier in the week. I don't know if you out there on the other side of the speakers, the earbuds, what have you, saw it. I hope you did. If not, please do join our Facebook page. It's a Power Play Point podcast in all capital letters, naturally. So do a search on that on Facebook. Join our group today and be a part of the fun. We have some pretty good game threads and a pretty good chat group, if I do say so. But I posted something there during the week, and it was a couple of the Jack Daniels Washington Capitals shot glasses. And ever since I saw Alan May do his thing with the rep from Jack Daniels, where they sat down and tasted the oak aged barrel, the special Jack Daniels thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta have me at least one of them glasses. And it just so happens there's a story behind it. I'll try to be brief about it because we're starting to wind down on time. But suffice it to say, I was earlier in the day, I wasn't having very much fun. It's a really crappy ass day. And so if you must know, for a day job, I do IT, and it happens to be at a local area private school, pretty good place. But it's smack in the middle of a residential area that people who live there love to use as a jogging track and or a dog walking park. Now I love dogs. I got no problem with them. I'm leaving to get to my, but I got to walk across campus to get to my car. That's where I have to park. So the day I got the shot glasses, I was leaving to go home, walk across the park. There's this woman walking her dog. And she literally comes up out of nowhere, and she's about 10 feet away, and she sees me coming, and she just stops, jerks her dog. I mean, I'm surprised the poor thing didn't yelp. Jerked the leash so hard, the dog had to stop, and it just stopped because saw me walking, and I was like, I was in the way. I was apparently in their way. I was crossing their path, and I hear this really loud from 10 feet away. And this poor dog is sitting there like, what did I do? What did I do? Is it sitting still, but moving their head around? Like, what I do wrong? And waiting for me to make a move. I'm like, for a split second, I'm like, stop. Like, okay, what is going on here? What's the problem here? And then it took me a second. I processed it, and I was like, okay, you know what? Fine. I will scurry across and get out of your highness's path. Okay, so you can have your pristine path and walk all by your lonesome and have it all to yourself. Sorry, I got in your highness's way. And I did my best not to look back. I got maybe 20 yards away, and I look back, and I don't know where she was, but I just remember that look on her face. Is like, I mean, it was like I was literally shit on her shoe.
No.
And I shouldn't have let it, but I was in a really crappy ass mood for that amount of time. So I leave, I drive off, I pick up my stepson from his job, and we're headed home. And when I get home, I'm thinking, all right, I need something to pick me up because there's no way I can stay in this bad mood and function. And so I drop him off, and okay, yeah, not the ideal place for a pick me up, but I go down to the liquor store down the street from where I live. And so I go in there, and they have a beer cabinet in the back. And I'm checking out what they've got there. There's this guy in a blue hoodie and blue baseball cap, and he's kind of looking at the beer. And the way he's looking at the beers, I'm thinking, okay, well, this guy either really knows his beer or he's somebody. He's somebody. But I didn't pay him too much attention. I just kept on looking through because I'm like, okay, I got to have something here. And then he looks over at me. I'm wearing my Caps jacket, my blue Caps jacket. And he looks at me and he says, "Hey, you a Caps fan?" I say, "Yeah." Now okay, so yeah, the Caps jacket should have given it away, but sometimes maybe not. Anyway, he looks at me up and down, says, "You know what? Stay right there. I got something for you." And he scoots off to the back, and he comes back, and he's got the shot glasses in his hand. And I'm like, "Oh, I lucked out. This is great. I will pay any reasonable amount of price for him." And he's telling me how he got them, and his friend's a big Caps fan, and he ordered a load of them, and he sold a lot during when they first came in, and he only had a few left. I'm like, so I put my hand out, and I was about to, before I can get the words out of my mouth, he puts them in my hand, and he says, "On the house."
Wow.
No charge. I'm like, sir, I am willing to pay whatever, reasonable amount you want me to pay. Like, forget it. These are yours. Take them.
That's awesome.
And when you get to the counter, just tell the guy I gave them to you. And I'm thinking later on, he must have been the owner of the place or something, because I'd seen him there before.
Yeah. You lucky bastard.
I really, really lucked out. I did. And
that's awesome.
I was just flabbergasted. I was bad mood gone for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, look, it's cliche, it's old school, it's trite. I get it. It's old fashioned, but it just goes to show one random act of kindness can change a person's day.
Mm-hmm.
It really can. So that that's the moral of that story. And it's if it shows anything, it shows that. So hopefully, you listen to me drone on about that and learn that much, or relearned it at least.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
what's the name of that liquor store? No.
Nice. Oh, well, you know what? Least I can do, Chesapeake Liquors in Glen Burnie. Least I can do.
Shout out to them. Yep.
And I didn't even say anything about having a podcast. All he saw was that I was a Caps fan. I could have been Joe Blow and not even a season ticket holder. He didn't care.
Yeah,
all he knew was
fan.
I like the Caps. Oh, you'll love this. Boom. So, all right. Well, we're just about out of time, and so I wanted to end that. Yeah, when it comes down to it, Caps, I think, are on their way still. I'm not going to say they've turned it around, but they've got a lot of, they're addressing some issues. So keep on looking for the little things, like how they react to things like, giving up the first goal, or, giving up penalties, because that was the key this week, I thought, or two of them anyway. So, all right, C4, you got anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to put out there?
I don't think so. I think, like I said, all in all, a good week. 500 week. Again, this team is doing way better than I expected them to do at this time this year. So I'm just happy to see them where they are, and look forward to the next couple of years, and hopefully in the next year or two after that, we're holding the cup again.
Yeah, I think as long as they stay pretty much on this trajectory, which for the most part they are. So yeah.
As long as our GMBN doesn't trade away the future for the now and doesn't listen to the people who want to win now, we should be in pretty good shape.
That's what I'm afraid of. So yeah, I hope rumors of impending deals get shouted down, but yeah, that's the thing I'm most afraid of as well. So, all right, so it's a good place to stop. Thanks for indulging us again. We'll be on next week. Be sure to catch us all on the Sports on the Hill podcast every Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live and Twitch and elsewhere, hopefully. Thanks for sitting through this one again. So we'll sign off for the ever bombastic C4 Cheryl Anne Forster. Thank you again for coming on. For her and myself, the Blue Liner on Point, I will sign off and remind you that, well, we had some iffy weather this week. So the sky was looking kind of black. I checked my phone. I decided to ask Siri and indulge her. So I asked her, Siri, hey Siri, and she didn't respond. So I turned my phone off and back on again. And then I asked her again, surely it's not going to rain today. And she replied, yes, it is. And don't call me Shirley.
Somebody's been watching Airplane.
Well, funny you should say that. That's when I realized that I had my phone in airplane mode.
Okay, there you go.
Hallelujah, and let's go Caps.
Go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Power Play Point Podcast. Thanks for listening.